Something Real by David Martinez. That's from his new record, Piece of Me. And the producer was Leroy Miller, Cindy's telling me in the chat room. So there we go. Something Real by David Martinez.
Great song.
I loved it. It's got good. It makes me dance. If I wasn't having so many communications issues today, it'd be making me dance.
Yes, Jim, you'll get to see him dance.
No, I don't see me on the Skype thing anymore. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here. We shut the video off for better bandwidth.
No, I know, but usually the picture still stays, but I don't see it. Or maybe I wouldn't see me in that scenario.
Probably not.
I get it. Yeah, I guess the three things was you and you two and David.
So what was you saying earlier?
No, I was going to say, well, how much longer do you want to go?
Well, we're going to go until we go. I mean,
okay.
How much longer you want to go? I'm trying to get your song off the email right now. So
okay. Does it say someday man?
I tell you what, we've had people in the chat room, and I've had emails saying that Goddess doesn't talk enough, so I'm going to let Goddess talk right now.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Goddess.
Who's saying that I don't talk enough? I'm listening to the stories and to the. I think Jim has a wonderful story. The knowledge that David Martinez had with his music just blew me away. I'm just enjoying this. It's just amazing. I want to be Jim right now. I want to take off my shoes. I want to put Jim's shoes on, and I want to relive his moments.
So do I.
Well,
let's go back.
Jim is talking
like
walking music history right now.
I want to relive those moments with my shoes, with your shoes off.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah. I'll even build a fireplace and put our feet up.
There we go.
Well, so, all right, where are we?
We were in Santana's story.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking to my friend Glenn Kalotkin, who is my longtime buddy from the 60s until today. He's down in Florida these days. I've been giving him some Pro Tools tutorials. I don't know if everybody knows what Pro Tools is, but it's a pretty widely used recording, computer-based digital recording system, kind of modeled off professional recording techniques. And instead of using tape these days, we use Pro Tools. And it's a digital audio workstation. So I've been showing Glenn some techniques on that, but Glenn's been around. Glenn did Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll. He did Santana's Supernatural album. He got a Grammy from that.
Wow.
And he's just, I love him. We've been buddies for forever. We used to live in the same building when we worked at Columbia Records together. We started a record label. We started a management company. We used to manage Bobby Lester. And we had a group on Apple Records called Sunday. And but we're still buddies. We still stay in touch. He went off to California to run Columbia Records out in California for a few years. And then he was out in the West Coast. And now he's been down in Florida for several years. So that's my buddy Glenn. Just thought I'd throw that little talk in there.
You know what? I was a big fan of Jonah Jett.
Yeah.
And what was the song that you mentioned? I was busy trying to...
I love rock and roll.
Absolutely. You know. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby.
Yeah. He did several Barbra Streisand records when he was out in California. I'm pretty jealous about it. They asked me to go out too, but I passed. I'm not a mover. I like staying where I am, and I lived in Manhattan and I didn't want to go. But I think I missed out on a few opportunities out there. Would have been fun to have gone out there. Although I did stay, I did do Johnny Winter and Edgar Winter. I did Free Ride with Edgar Winter. I did the Johnny Winter live album. And who else did I do? Well, I worked with Dave Clark, the Dave Clark 5, at Columbia Records, and a group. Let me see. What was Liar? What was the song? Liar. What was the name of that band? Can't even think of their names now.
I don't know, but you was gonna serenade me earlier. What's up with that? You haven't serenaded me yet.
What? You want me to sing a song?
Yeah, are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah,
are you
no,
warmed up?
that's not going to happen. But
well, how about we play Someday Man then?
yeah. Now, let me just set this up. So this is a recording session. My favorite studio in the world was at Columbia Records. Had a Mitch Miller, who was famous TV personality, who had a men's chorale on TV back in the 60s, found this church, and he was signed to Columbia Records. So he told everybody to never wash the floors in this place. Don't clean it. Don't change anything, because the sound was so gorgeous in this place. And that was the Studio C of Columbia Records, otherwise known as the Church. And Georgie Fame, who had a few hits, a British artist, had a few hits, came into the studio, and I got to record this song called Someday Man. And this is live right off the session. This is my safety copy tape as it went down in the session. So here's a little bit of Columbia Records, 30th Street, Georgie Fame, Someday Man.
Awesome.
Wow, thank you very much. Here we go.
Some people always complain that their life is too short, so they hurry along. Their worries drive them insane, but they still go along for the ride. As for me, I have all the time in the world. I was born a someday man, I'm a maybe child. I was born a Sunday man, I was always wild. Tomorrow's a new day, baby. Anything can happen at all. Some folks are working for reasons and waiting for answers they're never gonna find. They keep on searching for pleasures and looking so hard they can't see. But for me, life can be a sweet holiday. I was born a someday man, I'm a maybe child. I was born a Sunday man, I was always wild. Tomorrow's a new day, baby. Anything can happen at all. I was born a Sunday man, I'm a maybe child. Yeah, I was born a someday man, I was always wild. Yes, I was born a someday man, I'm a maybe child. I was born a someday man, I was always wild.
Someday Man. Man, that's great. I love it. Everybody still with me? Did I lose everybody again?
No. We're here. We're listening to you.
I'm here. So that was there it was. A session just going down live at the church with everybody there. All those musicians were in the same room making it happen. And incredible musicians. These are all studio cats, I don't know if anybody, have you seen the Wrecking Crew video yet? About all
No.
the guys who played on all early television shows, and they were the backing musicians for Sonny and Cher and the Monkees. And
where do you find that at?
well, actually, I think it's streaming on Netflix these days.
Oh, is it?
I probably shouldn't mention it, but I had a bootleg copy of it for 8 years now because they didn't have the money. There was no, there's so many royalties involved, and because they did so many records that we grew up with on early television and the record business. These were the West Coast studio cats. Now they have videos about Memphis, the Memphis group. And I guess one of these days there ought to be something about the East Coast guys, because I worked with Herbie Lavelle and Chuck Rainey and Eric Gale and all these famous studio cats that were the guys that got hired with the first call, people that played on all these generic records, where the artist was just, the artist, and then the studio cats played their records. There weren't bands playing the records. So that's who's on this session. It was like Eric Gale and Chuck Rainey and Gene Orloff, string players, and I don't even know who the horn players were. I was practically a kid when I was doing those sessions.
Right.
I did an album with Bobby Vinton with a 40-piece orchestra all the time. So I did an album with Lou Reed's album, the Berlin album, I engineered, but I never met Lou Reed. All the vocals were done in England. They sent the tapes over to England. He sang the vocals, and then came back, and I did all the rest of it. And I met him actually another Manhattan transfer show in Manhattan called Reno Sweeney's, and he came to see that, and I said, "Hey, Lou," I said, "you're the first guy I ever did an album with that I didn't meet." And he said, "Yeah, what album was that?" And I said, "The Berlin album." He said, "That's my favorite album, man." So that was cool.
Yeah. Well, I was just reminded by Cindy from Lady Lake here that I was telling her in the chat room, sorry David had to go, but she reminded me that he's a school teacher by day. So that's the reason why he had to go. He had to go take care of his class.
His students.
So
he should have brought his class with him.
Yeah,
giving back to the community already.
Absolutely. I have a great deal of respect for David Martinez. He is a wonderful guy. And once again, thanks, David, for coming in and talking with us and letting me introduce you to Jim Reeves here. And we're going to go
I look forward to listening to some of his music. I still haven't heard it because I'm not playing it back yet. I'll have to hear it.
Yeah, you at the end of the show, you can download the